Hey guys, yeah, wow. I decided to do this one live. Last game I just watched, Italy losing to Spain, or Spain beating Italy 1-0. Um, Spain basically, they play like these guys are playing together for the club team, all of them Real Madrid, or all of them Barcelona, or all of them Atletico Madrid or something like that. But it's one of those things with this new coach with Spain. He's really changed the way the national team is playing. They play with a lot more speed and directness in their approach to playing, which is very new for me watching Spain over the last 24 years or so. Maybe even going back into the 90s, Spain has always played a very methodical, slow game, you know, bore you to death with passes and then hit you with a 1-0, maybe 2-1 or 2-0. And they've always been very strong defensively because their game is very orchestra like. You know, all players are attackers and all players are defenders. And generally speaking, all of them tend to be very comfortable on the ball as well, regardless of where they are on the pitch. So that's not absent in this current Spain team. What I do like about them is how balanced they are, from back to front. They're very, very balanced. And I find that the the coach has found a very beautiful way of like getting the young players in the right spaces, surrounded by the good experienced players. The example of this, you see it a lot more in the front six positions. The back line is kind of experienced, or not kind of, very experienced, average age probably 26, 27. Danny Carvajal is, of the guys that started today, was the oldest one at like 32. We have Lenormand and Aymeric Laporte, who they didn't name. Very balanced in the back pairing. And then you have the boy from Chelsea, Cucurella at left back. Really solid back line, I would say, for the international game, as good as any. And then you have in front of them Rodri, Fabian Ruiz, and Pedri. That's perfect balance in the midfield. Ruiz is probably the most underrated of the three, and man can play. He's a joke. Um, and I would say in Rodri, they have, a very good number six in terms of the two-sidedness of his game. He's very good on the defense side of the game, as well as, he can dictate play, which is a criticism as an Arsenal fan. Some of you will know this. I have of Declan Rice at this stage of his career. Declan Rice is good at the defensive side of the game. Offensively, he's okay. I would say he's better than average, but he's not at the world class elite level for being like a midfield general and dictating the speed of the game, like making it faster, making it slower, and making other players better through his passing. I think that's probably the one part of his game that will improve. This is not an England talk, so I'm going to go back to the Spain game. So yeah, Spain had a great chance to go actually within the first couple of minutes with Pedri header, and then they had another header from Nico Williams, probably within the like closer to the 10-minute mark. That both of them within the 6-yard box area, and that should have been at least one, if not both, because they were both very, very good chances. Should have been put inside the net. Um, Pedri's was saved, Donnarumma, and then the other one, Nico Williams, just heads it wide. That's the second one. And Spain basically, within the first 2 to 3 minutes, had established the pattern of how this game was going to go. They were able to have their way through, throughout the game with Italy. Italy are better on the ball than they were able to show today. But they're also a team that's very comfortable and without the ball, so they were able to ride a lot of the pressure from Spain. But I would say um, Italy didn't just get worse on the ball, but Spain's defense made them look bad. I think Italy can play If you give them a different opponent, they can keep the ball with the best of them in the world game. And in Jorginho, Fratesi, Pellegrini, and Barella, they have some good players there, who can keep the ball for them. But they were just outmatched today. They ran into a Spanish team that was really well oiled and very comfortable playing together. And I think it's going to show probably moving forward in this tournament that um, Spain can dominate anyone in the world game. But I think the problem for them is a lack of a number nine. Alvaro Morata is a really good player. Like I was just saying about Declan Rice, really good player, top level for most clubs. But if you trying to go from like one game, in the middling of a tournament to winning the tournament, I think Morata would probably cost Spain because as much as he is their all-time leading scorer in the Euros, I don't think he is. He's never been actually, even when he was younger, but definitely at this stage of his career, I don't think he's going to be, at the elite level of all center forwards, and that therefore that's going to leave the two young stars who are really, really destined for big things in their futures. I think Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal, the two of them are going to be then burdened to carry the shoulders of to carry the load of scoring for Spain on their shoulders. And I'm not sure if that's going to be something they can deliver on consistently. Because whilst their games are incredibly impressive, Nico Williams and Yamal, they're both electrifying young talents. I just don't think at this stage of their careers are able to consistently score. Um, and today was a case in point. Nico had probably one of the most devastating performances by a forward player that I've seen without scoring or assisting. Not that assists and goals are, end of it all, but I do think like they're gonna need to give Spain something. Somebody's gonna have to take those chances. And I think maybe from midfield, Spain could get something from Ruiz, which he gave them in that first game, and they're gonna need to get some goals from Pedri. It's gonna be I think, a collective effort to get Spain goals with Morata up front. He hasn't done anything bad to you know to take shots from me. So like I'm not taking shots at him. I'm just saying that like if I could see an area for improvement for Spain, it would be with Morata, I would say. But like they were playing the near perfect game today. But before I go on and on about Spain without talking anything about Italy, there was a guy in goal today for Italy who was just ridiculous. The way Gianluigi Donnarumma played in goal today, I mean, it's not a surprise. In the Italian shirt, he's always good. But my goodness, that game should have been 5, maybe 6-1, 6-0 to Spain. It ended 1-0 because that man in goal was just not going to be beaten. Even the goal that Spain scored, it was, an Italian man who put it past him. So I mean, Spain deserved to win the game. Don't get me wrong, Spain deserved to win the game. But if a player on the losing team could get a man of the match performance or a man of the match award, I think he would be one of the rare circumstances where I think it would have been okay for him to get the man of the match in this game, because the infield players didn't give him a lot of protection. He was exposed and stood up to the test more often than not. I really do think it was a fun 1-0. It was not one of those. I think the 6-1 or 6-0 would have been fun for the Spain fans, but I think for the overall spectacle of the game remained interesting for long enough. I think the right team won. However, we have Donnarumma to thank for keeping that game interesting for as long as it stayed, because he was just ridiculous. Him and the Slovenia goalkeeper Jan Oblak. You don't want to face guys like that in the knockout stage. I think if Italy gets through, which I think they should be able to the knockout stage, they are going to give a lot of people problems because they know how to defend. They know how to, let the other team have the ball and be okay with it. But most teams are not going to be as strong defensively as Spain were today. Spain are the most underrated part of Spain's game is their defending. They are amazing, like world class defensively. Even though they're playing with little guys, they they win the ball back so fast. So like you win it back after having chased for a while, and they get it back again. And I don't think many teams on the international space have both elite attacking and elite defending. Like I'll give you an example. Teams like Hungary and teams like Austria, they are very good at pressing, and they will give you hell with their press, but they won't be as good as Spain are on the ball. But teams like Germany will give you like a lot, like elite offensive play, but you can get at them, as we saw Hungary show yesterday with some of their counter attacks, and when they would win the ball in middle of midfield, you can catch Germany in transition a lot more. Spain, you can catch them in transition, but it's much harder because their off the ball structure is so yeah. Everybody understands their role. They're well coached, and they have legs throughout the pitch. They have legs, so they can stay the distance with most teams. And because they keep the ball better than most teams, they're going to be probably less tired than the opponent. So I think Spain, it's too early for me to say they're going to go into the last four or even the final, because the way they are playing, the I know they got a lot of goals against Croatia, but I think in that game they got a little lucky. Croatia was punished to the max for each mistake they made. Today, Spain should have scored more goals than they did against Croatia. I don't know if the XG numbers would agree with me on that, but I think he had so many really good chances. Let me see what the XG was today. I think Spain should have been, yeah, 1.90 to Italy's 0.18. But if I look at their XG against Croatia, I said that from memory, but let me see. They won 3-0 in that game. And okay, their XG in that game was slightly better. It was 2.01. But I think today they created so many big chances. I just, yeah, I'm surprised that the game ended 1-0. But because I was watching it, I have to just basically, you know, tip my hat to Donnarumma. And yeah, I think this group should be fun to see how it ends out. But I think Italy are probably going to be through as the second best team, and Germany will be. I mean, sorry, and Germany will play Italy should they win their group, which they are, I think, in pole position to win that group. So by not winning today, Spain has won their first two games. So yeah, I mean, I don't think Spain lose their last game. I think Spain will win this group. Germany will win their group, and then they'll avoid each other, and Italy will end up playing against Germany. Anyway, I yeah enjoyed that one. It was a really fun game. Italy um, can take a lot of heart from not having lost this game. I'm sorry, not from not having lost it in an embarrassing way, but they're gonna have to do better moving forward. But yeah, they ran into Spain at the wrong time. Spain were just levels above.